Tesla sale now on! Hello, I'm Will, welcome to the Tesla Jigsaw. Everybody panic! Tesla demand is collapsing, therefore they've just had to obliterate their profit margins, lower prices, and just get rid of all the cars they've made somehow. I even heard that they were just crushing them in a scrapyard just to get rid of them, like GM used to do with their first electric car. The downfall of Tesla then has finally begun. Don't even try and think logically, the headlines have already told you what to think. Demand has collapsed. Tesla's doomed, I tell you. So no further investigating needed, right? Instead, let's look at this rationally, shall we? What's really happening? It's true, there is an enormous Tesla sale on right now, but like most sales, they are there to fool you into thinking that you've got a bargain. Don't get me wrong, any Teslas represent extreme value no matter their cost. They are literally designed to be the most fun product you could buy, coupled with all the reasons that make them so desirable: performance, functionality, efficiency and so on. The true value they give is extraordinary, in my humble opinion. Where people seem to be confused is how they've managed to cut up to 20% off the price of some of their models. As Elon admitted during Q2's 2022 earnings call, "We've raised our prices quite a few times. They're frankly at embarrassing levels." This was never Tesla's plan to charge more and more over time, quite the opposite in fact, which is laid out for all to see in Tesla's secret master plan, written back in 2006. To benefit from economies of scale, which is just a fancy way of saying increasing production and lowering costs, Elon came up with this. Number 1, build a sports car, the original Roadster. Number 2, use that money to build a more affordable car, Model S and X. Number 3, use that money to build an even more affordable car, the Model 3 and Y. Number 4, while doing the above, also provide zero-emission electric power generation options, which is solar and Powerwall. And don't tell anyone. To get a clearer understanding of these price cuts, let's visualise Tesla's sales prices through the years on this chart. So on the left, prices are as they were in January 2021. Prices then steadily go up as the demand for Teslas grow, and now in January 2023, prices have come back down to earth. But most interestingly, are still more expensive than they were back in 2021. Like my car sat outside. I bought it for around £38,000 coming up to 4 years ago. But if you buy it today, after this massive price drop, it's almost £43,000. So why was Tesla being so mean by raising its prices so much? Well, demand was outweighing production. They couldn't make enough cars for the amount of people wanted to buy one, which made the wait times for delivery pretty unreasonable. No one ordering a new car wants to be told it'll take over a year before they can get it. So what's the only option Tesla has at this point? It's to increase their prices, which in turn lowers demand. This then makes wait times come down to a more industry standard of a few weeks, rather than many months. Would you like to wait a year for delivery of a new phone or a computer? Of course not. For those in a position to buy a new expensive car, they don't either. Operating margins. Don't look at me like that with a bored face. There's an opportunity here for you to learn something new and it might come in handy one day. A few years ago, I had to start learning a bit of financial lingo in order to get a better understanding of Tesla as a business. I'm clearly no expert, but I'm doing my best to learn and improve as I go, which is one of the reasons for setting up this YouTube channel. So for those who don't know, an operating margin measures how much profit a company makes on $1 of sales after paying for variable costs of production, such as wages and raw materials, but before paying interest or tax. The higher the operating margin percentage, the better. So in January 2022, Tesla's profit margins were a remarkable 17.7%. This is not normal when considering the profit margins of long-established car makers are far less. Let me show you where other car manufacturers' operating margins are today for a comparison. Okay, here we go. We've got Ferrari at the top with 24%. BMW, that's quite good, at 17%. Tesla 16.8%. Toyota 10%. 9% profits of Ford, 8% for Volkswagen. Okay, it's not brilliant, is it? GM 7.6%. Keep going down. What do you recognise? BYD, massive Chinese company, 4.1% profit margins. Is that it? They make a lot of electric cars. Wow, they're into zero, so they're not making any profit in their business at all. Porsche, nothing. Wow. Okay, no one earns in minuses. Wow, NIO, look, minus 24%. And XPeng, minus 26%. Jesus, really? Polestar, minus 75%. Lucid, minus 491. That's insane. How are these businesses alive? Rivian, minus 704. What are these numbers? What's that? That's insane. I don't even know who Re Automotive is, but minus 8.4 million%. What the hell is that? And here's the ultimate smackdown secret. Over the long term, Tesla is going to increase their profit margins to insane levels while simultaneously lowering its prices. How's it going to do that? Here's how. Manufacturing. Tesla have been driving down their manufacturing costs relentlessly and will continue to do so. From reimagining how to build a car entirely with things like the Gigapress, which stamps an entire section of the car, plus making a structural battery pack, deleting many unnecessary parts, and just innovating and saving money at every opportunity. The next generation platform which Tesla has been working on, of which more details will be announced on 1st of March this year at the Tesla Investor Day, I'm just a little bit excited, will no doubt again revolutionise the way Tesla builds its cars and drive down costs further. You just have to watch Sandy Munro tear down a Tesla to see him lose his mind over Tesla's competitive advantage. Sandy is one of, if not the best manufacturing engineer on the planet. Declining cost curves. The more cars Tesla makes, the cheaper they are to build. The more raw materials they buy, the cheaper they can lock in better prices. Plus factories ramping up to capacity and becoming more efficient, rather than being a financial burden to profit margins. These things all go towards lowering the cost to produce a car, and thanks to economies of scale, will mean Tesla can continue to drive down its cost of vehicles to the consumer too. Software subscriptions. A large part of Tesla's future software revenue will come from having an in-car app store. Tesla Arcade, Dog Mode, YouTube and Netflix are small examples of what a Tesla app store is capable of doing. When developers are allowed to build apps on a Tesla platform, this will give rise to an app boom similar to the smartphone revolution back in the 2010s. When Teslas become autonomous, those massive screens become highly lucrative money printers. But even now, monthly subscriptions to premium connectivity, which is currently £10 a month, Tesla's own car insurance, and many future opportunities to generate income from software as a service is yet another party trick Tesla has up its enormous sleeve. All Teslas will one day have the option to pay monthly for full self-driving. This gigantic stream of revenue will be pure profit, as it's just software, and only an over-the-air update away. Just imagine how much a self-driving car would free up people's times to be more valuable, to get stuff done whilst travelling, make business calls, watch a film, or just do what I know I'll do and have a nice kip and wake up at my destination fully rested. I know this still seems decades away, but I don't think so. I think by 2025, Tesla's stand a chance of having self-driving cars and robotaxis on our roads, and they will challenge the need for car ownership at all. And I don't need to spell out what this means for any dinosaur car manufacturers still making engines, do I? I'll give you a clue. Extinction. The financial opportunity of solving autonomous vehicles is absurd. Tesla prices today and what it means. Well, surprisingly to some, Tesla is doing exactly what it said it would do and continue to lower prices. This has obviously upset those that have bought one when they're more expensive, but if a sale starts after Christmas, you can't complain you missed out by buying stuff earlier. I get it though, I'd be cross too, but there were so many indicators from Tesla that they were going to lower prices soon, I'm surprised more people didn't see it coming. Actually, I'm not, because I do realise most people have a life and don't pay so much attention to Tesla like I do. Oh well. Elon not only mentioned that Tesla prices were embarrassingly high, but also that global material costs were coming down, and the Inflation Reduction Act in the US meant Tesla would no doubt lower its prices to have them fall under $55,000 threshold, which on a side note is a colossal waste of money in my view. I used to think subsidies were needed, but now the cost of a new EV is equal to that of an ICE car. People are going to buy EVs whether you incentivise them or not at this point. This does nothing but help the dying ICE car manufacturers limp towards bankruptcy, a little bit slower at best. Subsidies for hybrids? It's insane. Yet that's exactly where taxpayers' money is going. Blech. I digress. In short, prices have come down a lot. They are still above where they used to be, and despite what might be a tough recession year for all car manufacturers, Tesla is best placed to weather this storm. And as Elon mentioned not long ago, if needs be, Tesla profit margins could go to zero while they ramp up their factories, increase demand with ever-lowering costs, and really give the competition something to worry about. Which brings me nicely on to... I think I've said that in every video, haven't I? Keep spitting. What this means for other car companies. Who in their right mind will be buying a car with an engine in 2030? By then, EVs will be way cheaper to buy, as there is still plenty of cost savings to be had in the manufacturing process and declining battery costs. The stranded assets of engine factories and supply chains for components will be redundant. The dealership model of selling you a car that endlessly needs maintaining and servicing, parts replaced, etc. will be dead too. Tesla's huge price drop spells impending doom for those companies that have not kept pace with the EV transition. And let's face it, that's nearly all traditional car companies. Personally, I think they're going bankrupt. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, and for the rest of their lives. It's the Chinese, Koreans, and American EV companies that will dominate the car industry from here on. This has bugged the hell out of me for years, actually. How is it that other car companies have remained so stupidly stubborn for almost 20 years of Tesla's existence? Elon even gave them his secret master plan of how to scale up the manufacturing of electric cars. He even handed them the blueprints of Tesla parts for the vehicles by open sourcing the patents, however you say it. And no one took advantage of that. 20 years later, and Toyota are just considering right now, today, that EVs might be the future after all.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Let me tell you a secret that not many people are aware of yet. Back in 2020, global EV sales were just 3%. Isn't that astounding? Probably have to give you the rest of the information for it to be interesting though, don't I? Back in 2020, global EV sales were just 3%. In 2021, 6%. And in the third quarter of 2022, 15%. Let's say EVs were just 12% of the global market share in 2022. That's a doubling each year. If this trend continues, and I believe it will, you'll get this. I'll just let that sink in for a minute. All new vehicle sales could be electric by 2025. Here's another nice graph to show this fact. The disruption rate of disruptive technology happens fast. One day, everybody uses film in their cameras. A few years later, nobody does. Just think how quickly mobile phones came to be the norm, or going from renting blockbuster DVDs to streaming services like Netflix online. Electric cars are doing the same today. They are taking over from the internal combustion engine in the same way that cars once took over from horses and carts. Traditional car companies, then, are fill in the blank. So knowing this, and given Tesla's first mover advantage in the market, not to mention rapid scaling with a goal to produce 20 million cars per year by 2030, and with an incredible 47% year-over-year production increase in 2022, which car company do you think likely will take the lion's share of the market going forward? And I'll give you a clue, it ain't Toyota. Some might say understanding what's coming is called opportunity, which is why I've been watching Tesla so closely for years and why I decided to invest all my savings in Tesla stock back in 2019. I'm fully aware that Elon's personality and political views trigger some people, not to mention the decade of hate-filled headlines that have successfully filled the heads of those that can't think for themselves. But like many others out there, I'm just excited by Tesla's business model and product lineup. I love that there is a company transitioning our world to sustainable energy, one car at a time, one house at a time. I love that there is just one CEO out there with the balls to say what's needed to be said and call out corruption, the woke madness, and not be held hostage by towing the party line or appeasing the board of directors. Elon will be Elon, and he will continue to innovate, outthink, and push humanity into a better future, with or without people's understanding and support. God, I like that bit. It sounded good, didn't it? I wrote that. And now, with this enormous sale on, comes the fun bit. The price war. If a Tesla costs less money than a competitor's EV, guess what'll happen? Savvy consumers will weigh up the difference in spec, take into account things like range, safety, software, efficiency, charging network, and will recognise that a Tesla simply offers greater value all round. Other manufacturers are either going to lose some market share in the EV world, or do what China's EV manufacturers NIO and XPeng have just done, and slash their prices too. But here's the issue. No other car manufacturer is profitable selling only EVs. Their profits are still coming from selling ICE cars. For NIO and XPeng, they were already selling each car at a 25% loss before the price cut. Ouch! With China and the US now giving huge subsidies off the price of new electric cars, this will also accelerate the uptake of EVs by fitting into more people's budgets. The lower the cost of a new car, the broader market for those who can afford it. It's nice to see that Tesla has responded to the Inflation Reduction Act's appalling measure to try and keep the Model Y from receiving the $7,500 tax credit. I don't suppose the IRS, who decided the rules on which cars should qualify for the tax credit, expected Tesla to just drop its price by almost 20% to get it under the $55,000 threshold for the subsidy. But that's exactly what Tesla did, and I think that's hilarious. Here's some more good news for the consumer. The second-hand market of EVs has just had a massive shake-up. With lower-priced brand-new cars, this means that used car values have also dropped. Check this out. £26,000 for a used Model 3 here in the UK. It wasn't long ago where you could not get one of these for less than £35,000. For American viewers, check out Farzad's Teslas are cheaper than Toyotas video. He explains over the 8-year lifetime of a car, it's cheaper now to buy a Tesla. Incredible. So there we go. Tesla will be more than okay going forward. It's all the other car companies that should be worried. But I guess given how well they seem to sleepwalk into the future, they'll probably just be asleep at the wheel with this too. Oh, I feel like this one's been a bit ranty, hasn't it? And possibly not all in the right order. Thank you for listening with this Tesla therapy session. You can find me on Twitter at Tesla Jigsaw, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about anything I've said in the comments below. I've not really got any comments yet on YouTube, so, someone say something. But don't be mean. Just be nice. Don't need trolling. Thank you very much. Oh, got my first troll the other day. That was fun. I'm going to go now. Okay. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.